What's up? BigHerc916, positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know, we do it over here. Some people have asked me to speak on the Iran situation with the United States bombing their nuclear facilities and the Iran-Israel situation. And I've chose to really stay out of that loop because it's not something that I could speak on with enough knowledge to give any type of valuable opinion. I try to speak on things that I feel if I opinionate about, maybe I understand them somewhat, but what's going on with Iran and Israel and then the United States involvement, I don't really have any in-depth knowledge, and I haven't really studied up on that whole relationship. What I do know is that a lot of things that transpire aren't just happening overnight. Like, you don't wake up one morning and say, hey, we're going to go bomb Iran, or hey, we're going to launch missiles over here to Israel, or we're going to launch missiles over here to Iran. Most of these things are planned out decades in advance. Like, leaders of worlds, and it's not just like, okay, over here, like we have a new president every 4 years. You have certain people that are in positions that are tied in with the Pentagon, private military that have been there for 15, 20, 30 years, and they've been through numerous administrations, and these things have been on the books for a while. It just happens to, fall on certain people's watch, and because of just a buildup, they've got to react or act a certain way to counter whatever it is that's been in play. The typical person, man, it's like at a world level, even when you're dealing with somebody and they're a threat, diplomatically, you're still meeting with these people. You're still talking with them. You're still, shaking hands, smiling, and then regardless, behind closed doors, you're spying on them. You're trying to sabotage them. You're trying to possibly poison them. You're trying to do all kind of shit. And that's politics. But people get so emotional and they're like, oh man, this guy, oh, he's broke his promise, this person, and blah, blah, blah. But you don't really understand the inner workings of how these different geopolitical relationships work, and how it's years as far as plotting, planning, getting intel, knowing what's where, what's what. Do you think they just like, oh, okay, yeah, they have certain satellite footage, access to certain types of topography, they can see certain imagery, and they can kind of hone in and do this and see like, okay, we're gonna at the time go over here and maybe knock this out, but because of certain treaties, certain rules of engagement, international law, certain types of attacks aren't basically looked upon as cordial or friendly, or however you want to put it. It's in violation of certain codes of war. But the average person in America, they just, they look at the news and they just think, oh wow, we're going to war, World War III. Oh, this guy's bombing. He's, doing this, and he's this and that, and they don't. It's like you go back, people who have been in office previously have talked about this for years, and regime change. Just follow the money trail, with all these other countries who have had situations where they've had people that aren't controllable, people who have their own agenda. If they're not with Western viewpoints, certain things, they got to get somebody in there that's going to play ball. And that's what happens as these cycles continue. in governments around the world, even though they'll still be holding summits together, they'll still be having certain international gatherings, but dude, it goes on. This is just a way of the world. It's not going to change. You know, you could say we should stay out of this, and they always say they are, but why they're saying they aren't involved in this, they got somebody who's already pretty much infiltrated that government, or who's working on, undermining whatever ruling forces are, and then destabilization, and then they come in and get money behind who they want to run, and then that person gets in there, and then they're corrupt, and they don't serve the people, but they're serving the interests of whatever foreign nationals. These are things that happen all the time, but people just, oh man, why are they doing this? It's not overnight. This shit is in the making for years. They plan out, okay, we want to acquire this in this region. So they just start, they put shit into play. Let certain people. Do you not think that they don't know who's selling weapons over there? Who's selling missiles? This shit is going on. International arms deals are going on every day. Every day there's some type of shipping container or freighter with some type of weapons that's violating treaties or international law, but it's going down. And usually they might have maybe an agent or maybe not an agent, but somebody's somehow giving them information. And depending on how severe or the level of threat, that deal may go through or it may not go through. But these people who are international players dealing weapons, who are possibly setting things up so that there can be an uprising or some type of regime change, they let that shit go on, man. This is the government. This is the world. It happens in all these different countries, and there's always people who are thirsty for power and control and navigating resources. This shit goes on all the time. Read, man. Don't get caught in your emotions and, this party, that party, man. Look, each party, what party, those parties all have dinner together. They all hang out together. Afterwards, they have meetings. See, the difference is that the way they do their thing, they pretend, but then, like when it comes to gangs, they just kill each other. The gangs don't understand that that's not really part of the game. The game is to be working behind the scenes so that you're all eating, and that's what the government does. Democrats eating, Republicans eating. They doing stock deals. They're doing government contracts, all this stuff. But gangs, they got them like, oh, really thinking like, they hate each other and you guys should just destroy each other. But that's not how it works in politics. These guys they're at meetings all the time, and they're, so-called voting for different policies. And if one party, when you think about it, if one party really looks at something as being just total, a total abomination of the Constitution, why do they support it? And they still allow it to get passed, even though they said that the votes weren't equal. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so stupid, man. When you look at it, the people are being played. If we turned off the TV and didn't look at any of this stuff, it would have no power. And these people would have no control over the people feeding into it to keep them funding and doing all these different things. They would have no say so. But the people, they know emotionally are worked up, and that's what it is. So leave an opinion, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think. I look at the bigger picture, man. It's just like I said, they got these guys out here killing each other, and these Democrats, Republicans, these different parties, they say that they're destroying it, but they're in office, but you got to vote them out, but you can't vote them out because they're, playing with the voting polls, and they're moving people over here to shift the viewpoints. When you think about it, it's like, really? And this is all cool because we're still two-party system, but at the same time, you don't want war, you want war, you get in there, you said no war, but there's war, and all of it's being planned by people who are working together for a greater whatever goal, and they make it to seem like on us that it's some bullshit, and it's some bullshit on us, but these people, they know what they're doing, man, and that's their game. They play it all day long, and it's a big money game, long money game, and it's 50 years, 100 years in play. And it's in small section increments. So That's my take on it. I can't speak on, I don't want to get into the religious stuff and all the other stuff. I'm just telling you the big play. BigHerc916.
Don't forget to stop by the BigHerc916 store and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that BigHerc916 has authored. You know how we do it.